Hey, nice Atypical Daydream t-shirt.
Thanks. It's my favorite podcast.
Mine too. But where can I get a t-shirt?
It's easy. The link is in the show notes.
That is easy. I'm gonna go get one right now.
That's a great idea.
Thanks. Bye.
You bet. Stay cool.
And so I bought me just this little guitar just to sit on the porch that summer, because that's all I could do was just sit on the porch that summer, and started playing guitar. And I was like, this is my life. Music is my life. This is going to keep me alive.
Hello, my Atypical Daydreamers. Welcome to the show. It's a podcast about life on the road. Now, I'm no scientist, but as I understand it, the reason we see in 3D, the three dimensions, is because each eye takes in a slightly different view, two perspectives. And when our brain stitches those images together, it creates depth and distance and a sense of where things actually are. And I think this is a useful metaphor for some of the deepest wisdom I've gained in my life. I grew up knowing what it meant to be someone's son. But when I became a father, that relationship took on a whole new depth with both sides in my sight. Now, my guest today is Wayne Gottstine. He's a musician and a songwriter out of Lawrence, Kansas. And today, Wayne shows us two sides of what it means to face a terminal diagnosis and what it looks like to meet life on life's terms by doing the thing you love with the time you're given. And how, in the end, you're left with a deep sense of purpose and gratitude.
I've been in a band called Split Lip Rayfield for almost 31 years now. And at first we were a four-piece. It was me, Kirk Rundstrom, Eric Martis, Jeff Eaton, and we were just on fire. We were like really climbing the ladder at this point. And this was in the early 2000s. And then Kirk, our guitar player, he got esophageal cancer. And they tried to do a surgery on it. The surgery was unsuccessful. And they said, you maybe have 6 months to live. And so what he wanted to do was go on tour. And we toured for 6 months. And just as he was falling apart, as he was getting skinnier and skinnier. I bet he weighed 140 pounds when he finally passed away. We did a show 4 days before he passed away. And we just hopped in a van. We did a West Coast tour. We went to East Coast. We went all around everywhere. His tenacity, his love of music, his love of entertainment was just palpable, and of course we were there to support him, to do what he wanted to do for, the rest of his short life. And it was so intense. It was incredibly intense. And we were brothers, we're all brothers. The band is still together. The three of us, we still play, in missing man formation. That's what we called it for years. And we still play his songs. We played a New Year's Eve show. We played a whole set of his songs. But his strength and his courage throughout that last tour was just incredible. He couldn't eat, couldn't swallow. He was on IVs all the time. And we drove around probably 15,000 miles playing shows. And then, well, of course, I was there when he passed away. And then we didn't do shows for about a year. And then our good friend, the Reverend Horton, he said, hey, I'm coming to town. Why don't you guys open up for me as a three-piece? Why don't the three of you come and open up for us? And we're like, well, we don't know. We're not sure. So we got together and we practiced, and we're like, we kind of still sound like us. We're just missing a man. And so we did it. And then he said, come on tour with us. So then we ended up doing like 100 shows with the Reverend. And those times got pretty crazy. We were doing shows with the Reverend, with Cracker, all over the East Coast. And I had this party jacket. That's what I called it. It was just a suit jacket. And I decided that I was going to start blending in with the world and looking less like a rocker and more like a doctor. And so I would wear this blazer all the time. And we called it my party jacket. And we were in Rochester, New York. And there was this fight. And the bartender was in the wrong. He was totally in the wrong. And the guy was drunk, yes, but he did not deserve to be slammed down to the ground. And so there's all this hubbub. I'm in my party jacket. And because I look like this respectable party guy, I go up to the police and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this guy has a head injury. I've got a bit of a medical background.
Hey, it's Josh. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. And if so, are you wanting more road stories? Well, good news. I've got you covered. Consider becoming a patron. You'll have access to loads of great bonus stories that there just wasn't time for. And you'll be supporting a truly independent podcast. Find the link in the show notes. And thanks. Now back to the show.
I always wondered, because Kirk had small children, he had an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and his wife, we dragged them all around the country. They were with us a lot. I mean, they didn't even go to school hardly half a year. It just didn't matter at that point. When your father's dying, school, whatever, you can catch up. They've grown up. They're fine. They're both doing great now. This was 2007 when he passed away. So it's 19 years ago. I couldn't quite understand. I was behind him and I was going to do that. I was like, whatever you want to do, I'm going to go play these shows. We're going to go do it. I couldn't quite understand why he would want to do that. But then 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. I played so many shows since then that, first I did a bunch of chemo and all of this business, and we thought we had it under control. Then it came back, and then I ended up losing my lung. 2/3 of my right lung is gone now. I can still sing. I played 50 shows last year. I just played a show Tuesday night, or was it Monday? It doesn't matter. But being faced, with almost certain death, I mean, the survival rate at 5 years of small cell lung cancer is 10%. And I'm at 5 years now, and I'm at no evidence of disease. Everything is looking good. I get CT scans every 3 months. That happening, first I couldn't play guitar for like 6 months because the chemo was very intense. I was having these surgeries. I was doing all of this, and my hands were just shaking from the chemo and the radiation, and I couldn't play guitar, and it killed my gallbladder, and so I had to have my gallbladder. The chemo killed my gallbladder, so I had to have my gallbladder removed. And so I bought me just this little guitar just to sit on the porch that summer, because that's all I could do was just sit on the porch that summer, and started playing guitar. And this is my life. Music is my life. This is going to keep me alive. And I just started playing more and singing and getting my voice back and getting my hands back and getting my ideas back. And now, when you are given an expiration date, you want to do the thing you love as much as you can, and I love making music. I practice every single day. I play as many shows as I can. I have 4 bands, and it is everything to me. I'm not super successful or rich or anything like that. I'm squeaking by. I'm making it, making it by. I can get the bills paid. And that's enough for me, because playing music it's everything to me. And I've been working with this group out of Kansas City. I just started working and they do these shows like every Monday night at this church. They feed 400 people at this church every single Monday night. Reverend Mindy, she is like the epitome of what you think a Christian should be like. Her life is about helping people. And before the show, she says, some of these people are going to come in here and go to sleep. They're just getting out of the cold. They're going to, but the people that come in and watch the show, they get in line for dinner first. And so first you have this show, and then they feed you this dinner. And so I had about 50 people into the chapel. The chapel was beautiful. And I just played acoustically. I didn't even, it just sounded so good. And they were such good listeners. And once they got warmed up to my style, because I do requests, I brought my laptop so that I could, pull up songs if they wanted to hear them. And after they got warmed up to me a little bit, then a couple of them were like, any George Strait? I was like, you bet. And how about some Sam Cooke? Yes, you got it. And it was so touching. Like when I put my guitar away, and she told me, she's like, at 5:15, they're all going to scoot out of here and go get in line. They did not. It was 5:25, and most of them were still in the room. And so I got done, put my guitar in the case, and I went to go thank everybody for watching. And because these people have it hard. These people are living on the streets. They're just people. And you get to talk to them in a situation like that. You can see that these are just normal people having a hard time, and this big old guy, I mean, he was huge. He was like 6'7", and he came up and he was like, man, I don't get to see live music ever. He's like, this is a treat. This was a special moment for me. When I went out to my car to drive home, I admit it, I just wept, like just a simple act of playing music for people who don't get, not everybody gets that. They don't have Spotify. They don't have, they don't get to go to clubs. They don't get to, they're trying to find a warm place to sleep at night. I mean, I feel different after that experience. One, I'm just so grateful for the things that I do have, and, for the time that I do have in this life. And then the luck that I've had with this cancer, because a lot of times cancer is location, and luck. Science has gone a long ways, but it's still a pretty rough game. To be able to share music with people who don't just have access like we have it, and talking with Reverend Mindy, and she is such an impressive person. Her whole life is helping people. She feeds them every Monday because she can only afford to do it once a week. She has outreach programs. There were 6 or 8 different outreach programs that come to the dinners. If you have a health situation, they're going to help you to try to get it figured out. If you've got some identification situation, they're going to try to get it figured out. They had pamphlets about avoiding ice and things like that. She was a true humanitarian, and I was in awe to be in her presence. So that was my last gig, Monday night. Like I tell my younger musician friends, I was like, just go play a gig. Just don't worry about perfection. Just go out. What people want is they want to connect with something real. And now, and I know AI is getting big, and the internet world, social media is gigantic, but people are looking for something real.
I want to thank Wayne for sharing his experience. Be sure to find him on Instagram and TikTok, and check out his legendary band, Split Lip Rayfield, at stitchgiver.com. All the links in the show notes. And for anyone facing a terminal illness or supporting someone who is, Wayne's story may offer a moment of hope and light. It certainly did for me. This podcast is created and produced by me, Josh Caldwell. Music by Visual Aid, my side music project. General support and copywriting by Miranda Caldwell. Thank you for listening, and I hope you come back next time.